Welcome back to Between Two Electrodes. We continue our series on safety with a discussion on product design with our two guests, Paul Hayes from American Fire Technologies and Eli Bashevkin from Fluence. How can energy storage products be designed to be safer?
So there's a number of things that are so critical to this, and that is honestly the BMS is the most important piece because it's going to look at stray voltages and stray abnormal heat conditions and take your system offline. So that is the most critical and the most important piece outside of all the fire systems. Because honestly, they respond to something after it's already happened. The BMS is going to see something and shut it down. And that was why it was also important to see the adjacent containers, recognizing that if there was an issue, it would have been shut down by the BMS.
So I think designing a safe product is ultimately about designing for multiple layers of safety. So first, we want to prevent an event from happening in the first place. And so we have safety features designed into our battery management system, into our fire detection alarm system that are designed to set off, like detect an event early, shut everything down, and prevent that event from becoming a thermal runaway event that could lead to fire explosion. But ultimately, then we do want to design for what if that system doesn't work, or what if something happens that's worse. So we have the second layer of protection is designing for a thermal runaway event. And in that case, we want our designs to be able to mitigate the speed and the scale at which that thermal runaway event could spread and grow into a larger event. And ultimately, if we can contain it at one cell, that's ideal. But that may not be possible in all scenarios. So then the final layer of safety is being able to design to know how the system will behave under more extreme scenarios if you do have a larger event that is propagating. And we need to be able to characterize the performance, both if the event turns into a large fire, and also the explosion performance. So if there's not a fire but explosive gas accumulates, and we want to be able to ensure that in both scenarios, we can make sure that personnel are safe. That's our first priority, and that we can contain the event to a single unit to prevent it from requiring a larger response than it otherwise would.
Excellent. And when you talk about, deflagration panels and things like that, of mitigating an event, I mean, you're literally physically, directing where something is going to, release all of that built up energy. And so that's one way of, as you're talking about, designing mitigation and protecting personnel. Excellent.
There are a few ways to mitigate explosion hazards, and deflagration panels are one of them. And they work by being a designed weak spot that directs any blast energy in a direction where there won't be personnel. So in our product, they direct a blast upwards, which is not a place where people would be during an event.
Great. Thank you, Paul and Eli, for sharing your knowledge on designing safety into products. We'll continue our discussion on energy storage safety in our next video on engaging with AHJs. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future informational videos.